Hello and welcome, good people of Earth and surrounding galaxies, to the Comic Shop Does a Podcast with me, the Nemesis, sometimes called Aaron Z. Lee.
Yes, and I am Evan
I should
Foy,
probably somewhere else with that.
a.k.a. Dark Beast,
And
which may or may not be appropriate. And we're here with a very special guest.
Martin Kinney, aka Sugarman.
Look at that Sugar Man. Isn't that nice?
It is nice.
He's a terrible character.
Why don't we see more of him? He's like a Modoc with legs.
But a Modoc with an axe?
I think
Yeah, I like
everyone's
that.
agreed that less of Sugarman is more.
Really? I have to do a Sugarman pitch, not a Marvel.
I'm sugar-free man myself.
Sugar-free man.
Yeah.
You know what should happen is I should somehow get into the Marvel offices and just wander around from editorial desk to editorial desk.
Not
Subtly
sponsored.
sweet, low sugar.
Lower sugar. I did appreciate that they have low sugar and sugar-free
Low
and
sugar.
pure leaf arrangements. I wish
Yeah.
How
they
are you
would
no
sponsor
sugar?
us.
What's that?
You're usually a no sugar, aren't you?
This one only has 20 calories per bottle, and I'm okay. I needed something a little bit sweeter right now, but I can't.
You have Aaron. What more do you need?
He is a very
He's
sweet
just
man.
sunshine and kittens.
All of the kittens.
Oh.
I'm more of a dog person. I'm actually allergic to cats, so
Me too.
I'm going to invest in a store cat.
yeah. But I do want to point out that Evan and I are vesties today,
I'm a vestie every day. Pretty
And I'm
much.
excluded.
as always. You know, we do it just to be cruel.
Yeah.
Don't be cruel.
Anywho, what's been going on, Evan? How you doing?
Oh, I love when we do this. Absolutely nothing. What has been going on?
Absolutely nothing.
It's been a weird.
Aside from like everybody in the world getting sick or dying. It's been
Oh god.
very depressing
yeah.
last 30 days.
I told you my thing the other day
Yeah,
that that's. And I'm not. I'll tell you off stream.
Uh-oh.
Nothing personal, but just a friend from the past.
Yeah,
where you're
Evan
like,
and
ugh,
Jason.
ugh. Yeah, it's been a very
Yeah, it's
this. I feel like with COVID, it's just been a very depressing. More people who I like and follow, and people who influence me. A lot of comedians, a lot of artists, comic creators. I feel like it's just been a brutal slog these past 3 years. And I'm getting the show off on an exciting note, Aaron. Everybody's sick and dying, and it's very depressing. It's and maybe that's just how life always is, and it's just very much exaggerated by the nature of the world in the past 3 years. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of something positive. Aaron, give me something positive that's going on in your life.
Oh, something positive
Like
going
maybe,
on.
like maybe a big accomplishment that you just achieved.
Oh yeah,
Finally.
So I've been working on issue number 9 of Wesley the Robot.
9? You're up to 9 already?
Yep.
Seems like it should be 16 or something at this point.
I'm amazed when I met Aaron. I'm not really on camera. When I met Aaron,
pulled it back.
he was working on issue 3, and that was like. I mean, I guess I knew you a little bit before then.
6 years ago.
But if you count what he's done with this Wesley 9, you're putting out like 3 books a year.
Yes.
So between Wesley number 1 through up to issue 9, how many pages of comic is that total?
like 170 something.
Amazing.
I think that's really cool.
That is,
That's
that
a
is.
that's a
That's it,
lot
yeah.
of comic.
And-
Especially doing it all by himself. He doesn't have any helpers. He's
Well-
a bunch of people are hindering him, but no helpers.
I'd help. I'd fill in the blacks or something like that, or erase your boards if needed.
Well, if I do some more traditional pages, I'll keep that in mind. But right now I have.
Hold on, Martin was laughing at something. Martin, what were you laughing at?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Was there a comment that I made that you were laughing
I
at?
can't
Okay.
recall.
But I have the fill bucket tool that I can usually.
But I could do that for you.
We have a fill bucket. He comes by.
we do have a
Oh,
fill
boy.
bucket.
Oh boy.
That was a good joke that no one's gonna get.
No one's gonna get.
But
Someone
it's a
will
very
get.
good.
Someone will get.
It's a
Super
very good
inside
joke.
baseball. Yeah, but I've been working on that for a long time, 3 years. Was working on the lettering because we met up with Clayton Coles at Rice last year, and I was like, I got to step up my lettering.
Rice, what's that?
The Rochester Independent Comics Expo,
Hey.
which
Is that something that happens every year?
most times, except when there's COVID.
Is it happening this year?
It is happening this year.
I'm not switching the camera to you, Martin, because I'm trying to put some Wesley faces in the chat, and it's just taking me a lot of effort. For some
And,
reason. All right, now we can go back to Martin.
and I will be there. I think Evan's going too.
Yeah, I'm going too.
You trying to trick some other people into going as well?
I think we have.
Well, I don't know. Alex might. I think he's got some stuff on that same day. He's not quite sure of the time frame or the schedule. If he can make it work, he's going to be there.
Do you have any friends at the store that are going to be there?
What's that?
Any friends of the store that will be there?
Who else? I mean, Nigel and Kevin.
Well, I hope that they're there. I can't say for certain, but
Oh.
I imagine they would be here. They're there.
I can't. I guess I can't spoil. I think we got Caetano. I think we got
Ooh.
Yeah.
Caetano. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to have him on the scene there because he's going to hit it off with everybody there.
Oh, I'm going to
He-
make sure
he's-
that everybody buys this.
That sounds like a fun time that I'll be at the store working it for.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can get Mike Kelly.
No, he's probably not gonna be around by then.
I mean, I'm not going to fire him.
Oh, I might already be in the process of doing that.
If you're already working on the paperwork,
Yep.
there's already a trail of
Yeah,
documentation.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm excited to see
you
what.
yeah.
wanna-
Wesley's.
Yeah.
If you really want to do rice,
Yeah, we'll see.
okay, that's
We'll see how introverted I get by then.
okay. But yeah, that'd be cool.
It is a comics convention still. Like,
Yeah.
you're not.
I can
man-
go have fun instead of just hanging out with you guys. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, no, you don't have to talk to us. You
Okay,
don't even have to
good,
like
good, okay.
pretend you're associated or affiliated.
Alright,
with
okay, I can
us.
do like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's plenty of people that just like walk around silently there. So, so I mean,
Sobbing.
maybe not sobbing. I hope not. But you know, I wouldn't rule it out.
That
Maybe
robot
someone's
guy was mean to me.
maybe.
He kicked me in the shins.
I'm noted for kicking patrons in the shins.
It's true. I've seen it. The violent outbursts at the Wesley the Robot Pens and Pedals table. The inability to control your emotions and turning into this Hulk like rage.
I get those X23 foot blades and I just start just assaulting shins.
Yes.
It's what I've been known for a long time.
What paperwork are you talking about, Jonathan?
Oh, to fire.
Oh,
Michael.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, okay. I'm on it.
Yep. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you got to
we're-
be prepared.
Yeah, no.
We don't want another Arlene situation on our hands where it took forever to get rid of her.
Good lord.
jeez.
Well,
Wouldn't leave.
she's a senior citizen, so she's a protected class. So that's why I was. Michael is still young, so he should be easier to get rid of.
Oh my god. But anyway, Wesley number 9.
Can we look at some of it?
Yeah, we can take a look at some
Select
of it.
things that I don't want to see yet.
60 pages. 60
So
pages.
this is a rough proof here, right?
yes.
Okay,
this is
okay,
a
here you go.
black-
You can
black,
look at anything you want right
black
now.
and white photocopy here. Here's the rough cover. I mean, it's in black and white. The final cover will be
can
be
look at it
color,
too.
of course.
I don't want to see the spoiler things.
You've seen the first 12 pages though, right?
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
of the
yeah.
preview.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll go much past the first 12 pages, but it's set at an event called Hot Dog Day.
Which sounds amazing.
It's just it's like your spring fest for any college.
But
know.
with wieners. Oh, wait, never mind.
Wieners out.
That is part of the humor, and then we've incorporated several hot dog sculptures.
I was telling you
other
earlier,
folks.
Martin, about my buddy Jason who can't text, and he does a hot dog crawl every year, where he was interviewed by the news, and that was his thing. He's like, "Wieners out for the hot dog crawl," and it made the news. So there was a great video of him with a whole bunch of people with hot dogs. And celebrate. I don't even know what it's some Raleigh hot dog crawl. I don't even know what it is. It's a sidebar. But anyway, we're just talking about
Hot dog crawl, yes. So one of our old villains shows up, and he's out for revenge, and he's gonna ruin Hot Dog Day for everyone.
Oh, disgusting.
Old DJ Country out with his flaming sword. But
At Weenie Fest.
that's right,
And by flaming sword, you mean?
His penis.
flaming sword.
Oh no!
I can go back to the page. Look, he's
It's a
got
very
a sword. and it's-
phallic issue so far.
Maybe. I guess so. I guess so. I didn't
all
really
right.
think about it that much.
That's all right.
But yeah, we got some other. These are some additional pages that we have not seen before, and I think I'll probably end with this next page here. But it's a double page spread with the Feldgeister 4 facing down Cisco and Stack, and Mike on the mic,
And Wesley the robot.
and Wesley Robot, and Beatrice here. Kind of a double page spread.
Poor Beatrice in this issue. I feel like she yeah. Poor Beatrice. That's all.
I mean, it reflects the plight of many women out there who are just caught in the middle of so
many
many
women who
conflicts.
know Aaron Z. Lee.
Is she in
Yes.
the refrigerator?
Don't want to say anything just yet.
Is she like in the George Foreman grill?
I don't want to say anything just yet. Martin, I think you'll be pleased. with
Well,
what
also there's a
happens.
big X-Men Legends figure in this shot.
Oh,
What's
sorry.
that?
Yeah,
People with
baby.
claws.
Weapon X.
No, wait, here we go. Both. Was that both?
And Shadowcat. Was it okay? Well, I won't ask. I'll ask that later. But
Okay.
but this spread of the crews facing each other down. I know it kind of looks like that classic. What is it? Neil Adams like X-Men side thing. But this was actually based off of an image from Zen the Intergalactic Ninja.
Do you remember Zen, the Intergalactic Ninja?
I do, because Aaron, last time we had one in, Aaron's like, I'm doing something with this.
And I did.
You did.
Who
Man
did,
of his word.
Who did Zen? I mean, I remember seeing it in Wizard, but like, who?
I don't know.
Didn't even know who you borrow from, homage from.
This book is full of homages, full of homages.
We don't want to spoil too much, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta
this
stop.
This is probably good. Page 17.
Out of how many pages?
60 pages, and it's going to be a
69 pages, Martin.
69.
64-page book. It's going to have some bonus images in the back, some pinups of Wesley throughout the years. It's going to have I can say the pinups, right?
Yeah. It's your stuff. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah. So
it's your property. You own.
Am I spoiling any of my own things?
Go.
But Tony Farrow is a great artist. I think he does 21st Century Big Spider and some other stuff. He's a cartoonist kayfabe guy. He did a great pinup of Wesley and Beatrice. Also, I got Jonathan Koisubia.
Jonathan Ashline?
Ciuba.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Who's a Canadian artist who does the Flytrap. He's awesome. He did 2 sketches for me. That'll be in there too. Is there a fourth one? I think that might be it.
You know who others? You had a great sketch the other day, a great Wesley the other day from me.
Oh, that's true.
It was really good. I did a good Wesley.
Should that one go in?
No, I mean whatever. It's not. I'm not professional.
Well, at some point I'll be collecting all of them, like all of the fan art of
You
Wesley.
could just
and
tell
put
me
in
it
the collected.
stinks. I'm comfortable with that.
No, I think towards the end you're getting somewhere with it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. It took it. I had to rework his. I wanted really big claws for some reason, and then like
That's all right.
the one was just huge, and I was like, we got to bring that down. And then
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do that
liked-
with him
I
too.
liked the
sometimes.
pose. I thought the pose was fun. I thought it came out
Yeah.
pretty good. It's probably the best Wesley I've ever drawn. I've drawn Wesley maybe 5 or 6 times in my life. So
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the best one so far.
thank you.
Although, just a call back to our last episode, I think the design of Fatbot was excellent.
Thank you. We realized that Fatbot is actually just OJ Bod in Pink Lemonade.
Not exactly.
No, not exactly, but Martin pointed that out that we were looking through Pink Lemonade the other day.
You know what I should do when I finally get to the Kickstarter next January is do a ton of Wesley team up pinups with like all famous robots throughout pop culture,
Mm-hmm.
and just have those available as a reward to go with it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Both true believers in the audience.
Wow. 2 believers.
2 believers.
Did I say true?
You said
Wow.
true.
I've been
You
drinking.
ruined the joke.
Truth.
Is that what's in
no.
that mug?
Yes.
I just see you
What
pour
is in
water
that mug?
into it.
That is.
It's like that time I thought I was putting Bailey's creamer into my coffee, and it was Bailey's alcoholic creamer.
There you go.
No, I take the jug of water, I empty the water out, then I put in the homemade gin from my still, and then I pour it into my.
Is that big copper coily thing that's in the back room?
It is.
I wondered what that was.
You know what we need to do at some point? We need to make a promotional item that's Martin drinking a martini.
a Martin Martini?
Yes.
A martinini?
Can I be farting while drinking
A
it?
fartini?
If you wish. If you wish.
While the
Right.
while the Martin TV show theme song plays.
Have you explored this concept before?
On our next podcast, the
Martin-
martini fartini.
Hey, Martini.
the Martin exploitation.
Only if
Wow.
Evan dresses up as Shanae.
Is that a character from Martin?
It is.
Okay.
You uncultured swine.
Oh gosh, I was getting Shanae, and for whatever reason, my mind went to there's like some hip hop song from the early '90s, and it's Shaniqua don't live here no more. Shaniqua don't live here no more. Is Shaniqua there? Hell no. But my mind went there for some reason, and now I've offended everybody. So thank you.
And you're gonna get this copyright infringement flag.
I don't
Do you
even know
think
what
so?
song that is. Does anybody know the Shaniqua don't live there no more song?
YouTube will inform us later.
Do you?
You know that we when we uploaded the puzzle podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We got a because we turned on music towards the end.
Oh, you
we're
didn't
like
cut it?
we're like whatever.
Oh, well, you're gonna get.
No. We got
Interesting story.
they flagged us, but then they said whoever we got flagged by, their music is available to use for YouTube, so it didn't really matter. So we just
Oh.
left it up. So I don't know. It doesn't tell you what music or what song.
Did you keep all of it?
I cut some of it.
Because I played Mr. Wizzo.
Mr. Wendell, Mr. Wendell. I'm just gonna do early '90s hip hop songs. Yeah, hey, Mr. Wendell.
But is it Wizzo or is it Oizo? Because Alexa tells me it's Oizo.
I would say Oizo.
Oh, okay. I always called it Mr. Wizzo.
Mr. Wendell has tried to warn us about our ways, but we don't hear him talk. I forget the rest of the lyrics. Thank you. I'll be here all night.
I just do one and Aaron will use it.
I will not.
I liked Death Wish. He is nice enough to include Evan's quote-unquote art. Football MM is
Brutal.
Savage.
very
Brutal.
cruel. Very
I don't.
cruel.
Who is football MM?
I don't know.
I don't know who anybody is on here. It drives me crazy.
But we should make a Watchmen style comic where all these screen names are grizzled veteran superheroes trying to solve the murder of one of their own.
Are there any other '90s hip hop songs you'd like me to sing, or R&B songs?
Maybe Genius of Love. Oh, it was the 80s.
No more requests. Martin, do you have anything to add before we talk about Age of
Nope,
Apocalypse?
I think this is the dawning of the age of apocalypse.
Oh, why didn't they
This
ever do
is the dawn. Sorry.
Yeah.
Age of Apocalypse. I'm gonna sing the whole podcast. Can
It's
we
a
do a
it's a
podcast where I
musical.
just sing the
If you
whole
go to the
podcast?
description of the podcast, there is some lyrics for that.
Age of
I did include lyrics.
Apocalypse.
There are?
Yeah.
Where's in the notes?
No, it's in the promo for the Age of Apocalypse podcast. You've read them before. It's the same one from last October.
Yeah, we tried to do this podcast in October, and then what happened?
I got COVID.
Did you get COVID?
Yep.
Has it really been?
Dude,
Yeah.
dude.
It's been that long.
Wow.
Time is
Well,
so
well.
weird. I hate time.
Time just keeps on marching on, man.
Let's talk Age of Apocalypse.
Ooh, that's a good gimmick too.
We were having a lot of fun with these earlier.
This Age of Apocalypse was the first crossover I was fully present for. I think
Me as well.
because I got in at the end of Fatal
Fatal
Attractions.
Attractions.
I showed up late to Extinction Agenda, or was
Which
it
was easy to do.
Executioner's Song.
Executioner's Song.
Executioner's
Yep,
Song, I think.
my
Yeah.
first few X-Men comics are Executioner's Song comics. And I was fully there for this. And these comics were available all over the place. I remember looking through the Excalibur stuff at PNC.
Oh,
R.I.P. PNC.
let's just
So
talk.
I have a grievance there. I know everyone loves grievances. Way back when I was a customer at this place called The Comic Shop, it was located at 112 East Bridge Street. It was
The
called The
Comic
Comic Shop. Some old mean lady who ran the place.
Are you talking about? It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
Okay.
No. This was way back when I was youthful, full of the youth. Or Larry Miller, I don't know which. Decided that I was not cool enough to get a couple of the issues of the series because they were so popular, and so I was declined here at the comic shop.
112 East Bridge Street.
I
The
did get my
comic
revenge.
shop.
I'm not saying how yet, statute of limitations and all, but no, I did like you said.
Yeah,
I
don't
wasn't able to get
incriminate
them
yourself
here.
on the podcast.
I got them at Phase Drugs instead.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Ah, well, they were still there.
they were. They weren't Eckerd. They weren't Rite Aid. They weren't out of business.
You know.
This is the dawning of the phase of apocalypse.
Oh, there you go.
Phase of sorry.
It's tying it all together. Man, I miss those days when you could just find like current comics just like around the corner.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're still around the corner. At the comic
They're
shop.
in this building.
Yeah,
Please don't go anywhere.
right around
else
the
for
corner
comments.
there.
Please don't go anywhere. It's hard enough to make money. He before we get into this, he mentioned they were everywhere, and then mentioned Excalibur. You had a very interesting Excalibur sales figure thing that I thought.
The sales figures on this stuff were hard to nail down because this was before Diamond had its monopoly, so it was Diamond, Capital City, a bunch of other little ones, so I couldn't confirm this. But the artist that was working on Excalibur at the time, he was brought on. Excalibur was selling 95,000 copies.
Oh my god.
which would place it as a top 10 book nowadays.
Yes.
But back then was
Back then it was
not-
garbage.
Yeah.
And when the first issue of Excalibur, Age of Apocalypse edition, they sold 400 million copies.
400,000 copies.
400,000. Did I say million?
400
Wow.
million
Four-
copies.
400 million
One-
copies. It was
one
a great.
for every man, woman,
400,000 copies.
one for every
400
man, woman,
million
and
million
child.
billion,
Excalibur.
Yes.
Don't fact check me. There's no correction. Yeah.
But I th-
400,000. Yeah.
The numbers for this were astronomical, and it was a really great gimmick. For what, if people don't know, they took the whole X line, the whole X line,
The entire X line.
and basically went to an alternate reality for like a 4 issues of each book.
Not an alternate reality. It was
Uh,
real.
Well, a different. What do you call it then? It's
It
an
shift-
Earth.
It happened,
It's
yeah.
an Earth 262 or something.
Now it is, yes, but
It was a shift in the timeline.
yes, it was a
right?
shift in the timeline. This was still
Oh,
616.
because Legion kills.
Yes, you want me to go through the backstory real quick?
Yeah, could you? Because I'm gonna, if I try to do it, I'm gonna butcher it.
All right. Way back in the day, Professor X got it on with some Israeli chick, and they had a kid. His name was Legion. He turned out to be a mutant.
Daniel Haller.
Yes.
Yes.
His mutant power was fractured so that he had many personalities, and each one had a different alpha level mutant
David
ability.
Haller. David. Sorry.
So that didn't go well because he got up to some shenanigans. He killed Destiny, things like that.
Uh-oh.
But he ended up in a coma, and he was in a coma for many years. Then he woke up, and his mind had knitted itself together, and he now had control over all his powers. And apparently, while in a coma, he'd been thinking, what had gotten in the way of my father's dream for mutants and humans living in coexistence peacefully? He decided it was Magneto. If Magneto hadn't been such a constant problem to his father, everything would have been fine. So he goes back in time, accidentally bringing Bishop, Storm, Psylocke, and Iceman with him. He goes back to a point where before Professor X and Magneto were Professor X and Magneto, and he decides to kill Magneto. He makes the attempt, and Xavier steps in the way at the last second, dying.
So his son kills himself in the previous.
His son kills Professor Xavier.
Yes.
In the
The
past.
in the worst Back to the
This
Future.
makes the M-Cron crystal off in Shi'ar space go crazy. It wipes out all of his distance briefly and reboots it with a deranged Bishop waking up in the savage wastelands of, I think it was Seattle at the time.
It was a yeah.
Yeah, it was out west.
It was a West Coast thing.
Yep.
Seattle, San Francisco. I don't
And
know.
then the story will continue with each of our X-Men characters reimagined, coming together to try and get Bishop back to the past so that he can save Xavier and write all of history.
What a fun concept. I really like that. That like, and it was done in a way where it's a fresh, clean, like you could just jump in and kind of learn these alternate versions of these characters. It was done in a bit of a haphazard way, though. I found very interesting. You were talking about some of the writers for that.
Yeah, we were looking at an oral history of the event, and what happened was they set X-Men Alpha and the framework all out, and then but each individual series, so Weapon X, Gambit and the Externals, those creative teams were all free to do whatever they wanted, working towards this Omega issue where the lead writers in the bookend would then tie all the storylines together and make everything work cohesively, sort of.
So, Aaron, all the writers were working like independently on this multi-story. Like that just seems so weird.
I
to
kind of
me.
love that though. Like okay, guys, here's where it ends. Your characters kind of have to stay in their own lane, but as long as they're working towards this, that's good to go. I feel like that'd be welcomed.
Creators
Nowadays.
like Scott Lobdell thrived in that type of situation where just the seat of your pants stuff.
It sounds to me like Lobdell was a bit of a hack, though, with the way that it sounded like because you said there was like a lot of plot points that were started and then like weren't really addressed
Yeah, and
at all.
in his regular X-Men, yeah, where he would just
Well-
like, oh, this sounds cool, but he had no idea. He didn't ever want to have like an outline or something to work from.
Oh,
Whereas
well, I think Chris
Fabian
Nicieza.
was a very outline-oriented person who was well ahead in all his writing and stuff. And those are the two guys that were helming the X books at the time. So
That would annoy me if I was Fabian.
yeah, and it did.
Yes.
It sounded like. But the way Marvel marketed this was they told fans, we're canceling all the X books and starting anew.
Did anybody believe that?
Everybody believed that.
Really?
This was a time period where you're killing off Superman,
Yep, okay,
you're maiming Batman. It was. We've told enough stories this way. We're going to reimagine things, and they went with that. And it probably lasted, I think, probably the belief for maybe a month or so. Then I
Yeah.
think.
I remember. I think I had that Wizard magazine that they talked about that in. I remember on the bus with
I
that
don't have
Wizard
the printout over there of that.
with that Wizard magazine, and I remember seeing Wolverine with like his hand cut off. I remember that affected me so much. I was so upset at that. I don't know. It's a fictional character.
Yeah.
He doesn't really exist. But I was like, what?
It's real to me, damn
They
it.
cut his hand off? How could they do, like, it should grow back. He's got the healing factor.
So
I
I've
remember
got
thinking
I've got a
about
little
that.
I got a little bit of the the Wizard article here. It says X-Men No More. The rumors are true. In December, Marvel Comics is canceling all of its X titles and then relaunching
All
all
400 million of them.
all new mutant titles beginning with #1 in January. In December, Professor Charles Xavier will be murdered 20 years before he found the X-Men. He'll be murdered, Aaron. Did you hear that? He's going to be murdered.
He'll be murdered. Tune in to see the founder of the X-Men murdered. Well, for the 10th time.
Wow, which will
Kinda.
change the course of events that make up the present Marvel Universe. The storyline titled After Xavier, The Age of Alpacalypse, will begin in December's X-Men Alpha and will be present with the X titles with a radical new direction. Taking the X-Men place in January will be Mutants, The Amazing X-Men, where readers, it's cut off. Join Magneto and his team of mutants. January's Uncanny X-Men will become Mutants, The Astonishing X-Men, where Magneto and his wife Rogue, he wifes up Rogue, tend to their young son. Wolverine becomes Weapon X, where we meet the most dangerous mutant team of all, Logan and Jean Grey, and his hand falls off.
It just falls off.
That's how it happened, right?
Yep. Yes.
No Cyclops involved.
100% true.
You guys are interrupting me. X Factor becomes Factor X, where Cyclops betrays his father, Mr. Sinister. His father, Mr. Sinister. Excalibur continues as
Papa.
Excalibur, in which readers will witness Nightcrawler and Mystique embarking from a quest for the woman called Destiny.
Pause. Do you know why it's called Excalibur?
Because it's a bullet in
And
some
Mystique's
gun
yeah.
that just has an X on it.
Yeah.
It's just
It was
a
like some
dumb
joke between the two, her and Nightcrawler, yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know that till this week.
What? That sounds like an awesome concept. Why don't they do that some more?
Don't know.
All right, let me finish, all right?
Okay.
X-Force mutates into Gambit and the Externals, where Gambit and his lover, Lila Cheney, who's Dick Cheney's daughter, begin the biggest jewel heist of all, the Macron Crystal.
The McCracken
Macron.
crystal.
Yeah.
Yep,
Omicron.
the McCracken, the Phil McCracken Crystal.
Omicron, as it was called on the X-Men animated series, so it's canon.
Okay.
Yes.
Generation Next becomes Mutants Generation Next, which turns out to be a Pepsi advertisement, where Colossus and his wife Kitty Pryde discover his long-lost sister in the slave pits. I'm almost done. X-Men Unlimited transforms into X-Men Chronicles, where readers witness how Magneto formed the mutants. Cable becomes X-Man, where he transitions into a woman, and someone has escaped from the clone banks, Nathan Christopher Summers. And for when and if the regular X titles will resurface, Marvel public manager Gary Guzzo is not commenting. Gary Guzzo, everybody.
Give a hand for him.
How do you end the article on Gary
Gary
Guzzo?
Guzzo.
I don't know. Gary Guzzo.
Is he Pond Scum?
We
no.
should have had AI write that article. Why did
They
they do
did.
that?
We should have AI just write our podcast. We don't need to do it anymore.
It would be the most coherent podcast ever made.
We
It would be
ask,
on subject.
we can ask an AI to write a play for us, and we can just read it.
Do you know who Pond Scum is, Aaron?
No.
I found this interesting. In the X-Men trades, actually, you open it up. I think it's... open that up.
This book? Oh, on my hands.
At the bottom.
Oh, they're
at
not
the bottom,
working
it
so
says
good.
special thanks to
Gary Guzzo?
Gary Guzzo.
I'm tempted to put it into my own book. Special thanks to Gary Guzzo.
Oh, that's really funny. Special thanks to...
Eric J. Moriels and Ponska.
So I had
Is
to-
that like Krusty Bunkers?
It is crusty.
I want some credit on this one.
What's the mailman for the Fantastic Four? Why am I blanking on his name?
Willie Lumpkin.
Well, it's with Willie Lumpkin.
We're off the rails.
They're lovers.
So Pond Scum, I had to look this up. He was let go from Marvel like 10 years ago, and he was apparently just like a utility office guy. That, he
Okay.
would color and ink, and like if they needed changes on things. But his name was Pond Scum. And
Somehow I
that's-
recognize that name too. I don't know why.
But apparently he's one of these guys that worked in the Marvel offices forever that just kind of did all the little, the grunt work. Maybe the editor didn't like something or,
Yeah,
or
pay
whatever.
stubs or whatever.
Yeah. But then what was he? He was part of the Romita.
Oh, I forgot you said.
I don't know. He was-
Ramita's Raiders.
yes.
You know this?
Was that the name of them?
I think so, yeah.
What do you know what that is?
Well, I would just said it because there's a Reagan's Raiders in the 80s, the comic.
It was like Romita
Yeah.
something, but it was like how Pond Scum had survived all of these cuts and the bankruptcy and was just kind of this guy in the office for forever. But I've never heard of him before.
And
And
he
I
was
was
just like besties with Ramita.
I guess.
I mean, it makes sense. Ramita was there for a long time. Is he
Yeah.
still there in some facts? He must be retired, right?
I mean,
I would
Senior?
think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was just his
JR
birthday the other
JR
day.
is not that young, so I.
No, he's pretty old and talentless.
Jeez.
I'm kidding.
No holds barred. Yeah, Pond
Well,
Scum, special thanks.
Do you
Thank
know who
you.
did, JR did the X-Men Omega cover that I've always hated, and I didn't realize it was him until they were mentioning that he should have done the whole book, and I'm like, no.
Do we want to look at this book?
Yeah, we can take a look at this. There's, we got that giant poster over there that's the same art. I don't know that
It's
they
so much better in shiny though.
on shiny.
Shiny, it's shinied up. In
This-
that
this way?
chrome, it's not quite chrome there.
you
because
like it
it's
better
got the-
here?
yeah, I do like there. I don't know if you can get the.
I don't know if I fully agree, but that's okay.
I have the vintage Age of Apocalypse promotional poster that hung in the hallway at the comic shop. I just happened to coincidentally find it 2 days ago.
Yeah, Joe Mad, who kind of like did this before everything looked like this. I'm gonna try to get it under.
Yeah, it's amazing how I didn't realize just how influential he actually ended up being. That is the dawning.
Let's see if the
dawning.
coloring is correct now.
Does Aaron look like Aaron? Does he have skin tone?
No, not quite.
No. It's also February.
Look at that. Hello.
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 Yeah, it's looking good.
Wow.
It's
It's seen better days, but
Oh wait, how old is Ramita Senior?
90.
93.
That's not correct.
Wow, he's only 2 years older than Arlene. She's old.
Oh, it's a good thing she doesn't listen to this.
I know. No one does.
Because her hearing's bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And the hits keep on coming. Here we've got some Bishop. He's hanging out. This must be Roger Cruz.
Much needed makeover of Bishop, where even homeless, he looks better than his cowboy bandana future.
Get out of town. I love that outfit.
You don't like the Will Sprotasio?
No.
Will's brought a lot of flavor with that.
He was kicking mad flavor in your ear. That's another rap song I can do.
With that
Here
mullet,
comes the brand new flavor in your ear.
that
Little Craig-
permed mullet was glorious.
we don't want to talk about the Craig Mack
And the
song.
mullets are
kicking
back. He,
flavor
was-
in-
he was right about it. Them coming back
They were
in the future. Yeah. Oh,
M-
maybe it. Oh, it
M
is Roger
scars,
Cruz.
not so much.
Scars. M scars.
Here
Oh,
comes
okay.
the brand new flavor in your ear.
Now, is this your favorite Roger Cruz work? Is that who did the?
This is pretty good.
That's who it is, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You know that Biggie had a verse on that song?
I did not. Yeah, but we got some Magneto. We got some Bishop. That's a pretty good Bishop redesign. I kind of like this like tech thing on the head for no reason. That's fun. Did they did? Oh, they did do Bishop in Days of Future Past. I was like, why did they never do that? But he didn't really talk that much. Wasted opportunity.
Jonathan Legoman says Magneto with long hair. Yuck.
It looks better on him when they de-age him in.
Turn him into Joseph.
Yeah.
What you? Do you like the Joseph
No.
stuff?
No.
What was the Joseph stuff?
That was such a weird thing to have done. They de-aged. They
But it was
cloned
less creepy
him.
when he was banging Rogue, so it was fine.
Yeah, because I
Much
feel
better
like
than Senior Citizen.
I feel like Magneto's like 65 years old.
Yeah,
and
it's
Rogue's like a
Oh,
young
this guy can touch me.
a
Okay.
young mama.
That did seem like an odd choice, huh? But I think it's just a way to make popular characters, like prominent characters, kind of reconfigure in an interesting way.
Oh, look at that.
Some Apocalypse. There he is. He's got those shoulder pads. Looking good. Looking good. And we got these crew. Is this Exodus over here? Is that what that's supposed to be?
I wouldn't know. I'm over here.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think so. I think that
Well,
was one of
I-
his horsemen's.
I think we're right. Oh, and then we've got Valvoline over here. Well, called Weapon X in this, the first introduction here. I think they're operatives of the humans.
Look at that. Jean Grey smooching old Wolvie.
I know, we've never seen that before.
Wow.
Whoa, wee wah. Oh, and then we have all these classic images that are. But these aren't.
Shattered Mind.
He redrew these sequences. They didn't just.
Phoned it in.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Roger Cruz's stuff now. Have you followed him on Instagram or taken a look at his stuff now?
No.
Very different, but very good looking stuff.
Well,
everybody-
whose style is he aping now?
I'm an enemy
don't
of Roger Cruz.
Oh, really?
I will say that
He
he
is.
too many
I don't know why.
swipes. Too many swipes.
Too many swipes.
I still like him.
A style of swipes. I mean, he's still better than a lot.
But better than a Greg Land who swipes from amateurs. At least Roger Cruz swipes from like Joe Mad. Huh?
Managers?
Porn amateurs.
Oh,
Uh,
managers.
no, Greg Land does that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, he swipes from porn too.
Yeah.
Roger Cruz does not do that.
No.
He just swipes from other comic professionals, which I'm okay with to a certain degree. But man, there was some of this stuff was like literally it was just like whole Joe Mad comics. I remember there was
Yeah.
there was a website back in the day called Genesis Comics, and they used to do a swipe of the week. And one time they did like a whole like I mean I don't know how they didn't get in trouble for like reproducing a whole comic, but it was basically like
Oh, the whole thing is a ripoff.
the 25 images in this book that are directly ripped from a Joe Mad comic, and I was like, oh, that's just gross. And I think that kind of poisoned my thinking for Roger Cruz.
Didn't someone do that with like a Zen Intergalactic Ninja too? I thought I saw something recently about that.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't like that I homage that scene, you're really not going to like the rest of the book. Because there's homages all over the place.
Because it's just Iron Man 222.
Not at all. I don't think Wesley and Iron Man are alike at all. But anyway, look how generic North Star and Aurora look. They look like they could have just been an Extreme Studios comic. But
I think the Factor
Look at the hair.
I think the Factor X comic was the most image generic remake for everybody,
yeah,
including Evan's new favorite character, not Cannonball, but his sister.
Magic.
Who? No. Yeah. Who is Cannonball's sister?
Was it
Oh,
Amazon?
Husk.
No.
it was like a
Cannonball has another sister.
So the Factor X teams. Oh, I have it here.
I had to ask Martin who this character was, and he's like, "Yeah, that's Cannonball's sister." And I'm like,
Amazon is her name, and she is Elizabeth Guthrie. For some reason, they
Guthrie?
took one
Yes.
of Cannonball's siblings and made her a mutant here. Never been a mutant in the regular books before or since, barely mentioned at all. Instead of taking Husk and using her, his actual sister over in Generation X.
Tim Sale art. Sabretooth
really?
and Wild Child, and then Tim Sale art for Bishop.
"Wow, that's very pretty."
What's he up to lately? I don't see much from him.
Yikes!
I think he's got a new project in the works.
He was floating around the X office at this time too.
Oh yeah, because Wolverine Gambit and
Yeah.
What was it? I was talking to Suzanne Gaffney one time. Now Suzanne Gaffney Beeson.
Who's Suzanne Gaffney? Tell the folks at
She
home
was an
who's Suzanne.
assistant. She was assistant editor to the X office for a long time.
And how do you know her?
Well, she's from this area originally, and she was involved with the art association here in town. And I would go to those things and talk with her. She had an art show at SUNY Oswego of all the notes and like photocopies of major things that people had given her. Original artwork over the years, including like some Rob Liefeld like layouts and
Nice.
stuff like that.
she's also left us a very nice Yelp review.
Really?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
Are you serious?
But I think I was talking to her about different artists that I liked. I mentioned Tim Sale. And she's like, I gave Tim his first job, and I was like, what?
Wow.
So, I mean, I have no
And
reason
now
to doubt
look at
her.
him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sign off on that. Smiling, walking Professor X. I don't like this version of it, but I do like when he had the yellow jumpsuit, the John Romita Jr. era. Do you know what I'm talking about? I like that in the Grant Morrison walking.
Jonathan Legerman says womp womp, and then he says incredible history, Aaron.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Even everybody is just mean sarcastic. too.
Incredulous history.
I love Bachalo.
Okay,
I can
from
ask
this
him about this
era.
because I have you do
what's the signature on that though? It
Look at the
looks like
signature.
Pachalo.
It says Crucky because he's working with Buckingham, Mark Buckingham. Mark
Okay.
Buckingham is inking him, or maybe doing finishes on the art because there's a lot of overlap.
Because we couldn't. I'm like, boy, that's Chris Pachalo's art to me, but it's signed with this weird signature. And I'm like, did he have a different pen name or something at the
Okay.
beginning of his?
Yeah, inker Mark Buckingham.
Ah, all right. So we learned something today.
Yeah, because
I learned a lot of things.
in
today.
Incredible history, Aaron.
in the
Incredible.
well, because I was all in on this stuff as a 10-year-old.
It's a nice looking.
Really?
Book.
Did you see his appearance on Win, Lose, or Draw with host Vicki Lawrence?
Chris Pachalo? Really?
I'm almost positive, yeah.
I tried to Google it. I couldn't
wish
find
I'd
anything.
seen it. I would have said his name right for 30 years.
Yeah, there you go.
Because what did I call him? Bachelot?
Bachelot,
my-
Bachelot.
Chris,
my
Chris
whole life.
Bacala.
No one's
Bacalado.
name is real. It's just whatever you want to make it to be.
But like this is, I mean, I like his style now. Like he certainly has evolved in an interesting, more graphic way, and that has its appeal too. But for the era, I loved all this detail.
all the hatching and things like, which he still does, but I didn't realize, I guess, how much Joe Mad apparently influenced his style
Oh, yeah.
over the course of this, that he really did change directions in terms of how he drew things
So when
because
they
of
were-
Joe Mad.
When they were developing,
He didn't swipe like Joe Cruz
No, no,
or
no, he
Roger
just-
Cruz.
he used the-
He used his art abilities. Art abilities.
Yeah, like
so when they were
faces.
planning out Age of Apocalypse, Generation X would have been at issue 4 or 5 as this was starting, and so they had briefly entertained the idea of just letting that book go on its own without tying into Age of Apocalypse, but then they realized that that would just be signaling to readers that it's not an important book. So it
I
was
thought
kind
that's
of
interesting.
so I think that that's probably why Factor X went with an unknown sibling instead of using Paige Husk for Cannonball's partner,
Oh,
because they were not planning on putting them in quite so quickly.
Oh, actually, you've made sense of the whole situation right there. That's interesting.
How sad is that?
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
this is
sad, sad podcast.
I feel like when Chris Bachalo came in, they really pushed comics technically further with so much stuff. I feel like the care to the digital coloring was so great, and like those first few Generation X books, the inking on that is razor sharp. I don't think I've ever seen as crisp lines in like any comic sense.
Is this digitally lettered?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this
okay.
is
Yeah.
fully the Richard
Okay.
Starkings. Yeah, we're in a comic craft.
Because
times.
this book is
One of some of it was
I love
some of
that,
it was
too.
Eliopolis, and I know Eliopolis was lettering on the boards for a while, but I feel like this is a time frame where it's like most Marvel books to me would be switching to digital.
so about 6 months ago, I started to read the Onslaught saga, which is the next big event after this. And by that point, computers definitely were involved because it was just garish and ugly, and
Liquid.
anything they could do, they would do. Horrible effects.
I don't think Liquid
colors.
was on the scene yet. Were they?
No, but I don't think they were quite there yet.
Liquid to me is always like 97. So I
Oh,
guess
actually, no, I think he might be right.
Is it because maybe Mark
Yes, 'cause
Chiarello, the colorist?
I think Liquid was around because that would be the Cannonball was an X-Man days, and that was leading up to there's like the Ozymandias issue where he's telling the story of Apocalypse. So yeah, I think that was Liquid then.
Yes. Okay.
I'm
On,
pretty
on
sure.
Joe Mad at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
I love that Bishop.
I know I was calling out this pose and everything. This is awesome. That's just a striking
God,
image.
what does that remind? What does that remind me of?
I can't wait to
I don't
see
know.
it.
Who did?
Can't wait to see it here.
Who did? Oh, remind me of like almost like a Travis.
There we go.
Travis Charest or something. Like
Yeah.
this.
Oh,
especially
yeah.
the hands. Right?
yeah.
I think he's like Mark Vachalo at this time is just being like a sponge and just like looking at everything and just channeling it through his own style.
Did you read Generation Next when it came out or no, Aaron?
I had a couple issues of it. I may have had all of it because I was reading Generation X from
Were
the
you
beginning.
shocked by the characterization of Kitty and Colossus with that?
Yes, how Kitty was kind of like bloodthirsty
Yeah.
almost. It was weird, but I went along with it.
Yeah, it was. In X and Omega, the end of the story, they need Colossus's sister Ilyana to go into the Mcron crystal, and help get Bishop back in time. And Colossus found out that his sister dies in the regular universe, so he didn't want her to get rid of Age of Apocalypse. So the only one standing between him is Kitty, his wife. And she is so confident he will not hurt her that she does not phase as he tramples her to death.
We're gonna go back real quick. Alpacalypse to that one sound effect there, which I think is
Oh,
tremendously
no.
funny.
It's and I quote smackaroony.
Smackaroonies get a big old kiss from Morph. He loves
Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah, they finally introduced Morph into the comics. From
Yeah, there's a story in
Was,
the oral
was
history.
Morph first the cartoon, and then they moved
Yes.
him into? So he's like
Basically,
he's like
yeah.
a Harley
He-
Quinn that's
he's
just not
a-
popular.
Yeah, he's like a mimic takeoff type.
Yeah, a Harley Quinn that's not popular. Thank you. I just invented that.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. Is this Namor?
It does look
Who
like
is that?
Namor.
Must be like Warpath. Yeah, Proudstar.
What book are we into now?
Excalibur. Excalibur sounds like it should be like an outlaw black and white comic published in Michigan. Some Tony Daniel, Gambit and the Externals. I had a few of these. I wasn't like
The externals concept is so weird.
I wasn't sold on it. It was fine. I like Strong Guy's redesign. It's kind of fun.
Treacherous bastard that he is.
Strong Guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
he betrays.
Strong Guy betrays the
Yep.
the team. Yeah.
I see. I read the Weapon X stuff. I haven't reread all of this stuff.
Yeah. What was as I turn the camera?
Yeah.
What was Strong Guy's? You're a big Strong Guy fan. You're
Never
a
heard
big
of him.
Strong Guy fan. What was his role in it was the X Force book or what book was he on? I don't even know what book.
X Factor.
X Factor. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. What was his?
So
He was the comic relief strong guy.
but then he
Oh,
turns,
that's bad.
but then he turns on the team at the end.
Oh, in Age of Apocalypse?
Yeah.
No, he's part of the Externals. He ends up, I think, kidnapping or being complacent in kidnapping Rogue and Magneto's son, Charlie. Charles? They call him Charlie? I can't remember.
They call him Charlie or Charles.
That is kind of sweet, though. They named him after Professor X.
Well, least you can do after getting your friend murdered.
Jonathan Blackman. What Colossus tramples Kitty to death?
Pretty sure it was a trample.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. Like that
It
book,
really is.
Generation X going from like it being like kind of light and fun, like straight into that was bold choice. Oh, hey, here we go. Now we're
Here we
now
go,
We're, now
here
we're,
we
now
go.
we're in the
Oh.
prime time here.
All right, Aaron's about to get all gushy and
Well, we got
semi-amorous.
We can Martin. We can stop talking for the next 17
Yep.
minutes because
Weapon X. Yeah, here's the copy I got off the shelves here at the comic shop in 1995.
There's a desk.
What?
Thankfully, there's a desk.
What do you mean?
you're knocking the bottom of the desk because
Okay.
yes.
I reread all of these issues and I remember them being like just like a thrill ride from like beginning to end, just being like just takes off like a rocket ship and like hardly ever slows down.
It was like an espionage.
Yeah.
He's working. They're working for the Human Council over in Europe, trying to get people out, stop bombs from happening, things
yes.
like that.
Yep. Yep. On the side of the humans because of the bad things that Apocalypse.
Did you say the
Was
creative
doing.
team was on that?
The creative team is Larry Hama. It is. Let's see. I could crack open the.
Larry Hama of GI Joe fame and
Yeah.
long-running Wolverine writer.
Yes, one of the
Known
one of
for action.
one of the best Wolverine writers of all time, for sure. A lot of folks working on this because just before this, Adam Kubert had done the crazy fold-out issue of Wolverine 90. So he was like already taxed to the max, and then had to come in and do all of this stuff too.
Which was a theme because Fabian
Nicieza.
had just come off of Operation Galactic Storm.
Galactic Storm, which is what I've been reading actually.
He's been reading that for like 6 months now.
Well, I got through the first book in like a week, and then I've had the second book for like 2.5 months.
Not that it's bad. It's just
No, it's good. I really enjoy the story.
yeah. So this
It's just-
huge event that he was exhausted from. He was basically. It sounded from the stuff I've been reading. He was kind of burned out in general
Yeah.
at that point.
But look at this team here on the art. Adam Kubert breakdown. So that means he's just doing page layouts. Carl Kessel, Dan Green, Chris Warner, all doing finishes. I love that they brought in Dan Green on this. I'm a huge Dan Green fan.
I'm a huge Carl Kessel fan.
I mean, I'm sure Carl. I don't know if I could say for exactly what his style is.
So you don't think he's any good?
No, I just don't know him well enough to like know what his style, what his contributions are to this. I assume it's kind of like the cleaner stuff. Is he? Does he go on to Image? Is he a cleanup guy with Savage Dragon? And stuff?
He's a cleanup guy in a lot of things,
But
and that's probably what it is. It's probably the early Image connection.
I assume that he's doing this stuff. Like that's great, but that's not really Adam Kubert. But it could be Dan Green. It's probably not. It's tough to tell with the hair.
That hair is wild. That's very distinct.
Yeah,
but it doesn't.
the
I don't know.
halftone, like they're still doing the halftones on the boards with this, even with the digital
Look at how
coloring.
dynamic all those pages are.
Well, it's
Even
'cause
from across the room, I can tell.
they put Adam Kubert in the right spot to do the layouts of all the stuff. Like it's just action after action after action after action. A Wolverine pointing with his stump, just like
Was there a Gargoyles ad that I missed?
yes.
An overpower ad.
Gargoyles number 2
yep.
out yesterday
Yep.
at the comic shop, 112 East Bridge Street.
The
The
comic
comic
shop.
shop. Pick up your Gargoyles number 2 in the comic
Peter
shop
Pan
today.
creamy peanut
You're not going to
butter.
find that at all the other stores.
Nope.
Yeah, not
Aaron.
anymore. Not
They
anymore.
don't exist.
Uh,
There is no phase.
But I just remember like all the action with this,
There is-
all the
There
stuff
is no
going on.
phase.
The characterization, Havoc shows up. Like I remember this image of Wolverine putting his claws into the ceiling to like swing out into this.
That's a pretty dynamic, wild.
I think that this is Dan
Ooh,
Green.
at the bottom there, love that.
Yeah, this negative space with,
Yeah.
with the red.
So for the series summary for this, this is very cringy to me. Weapon X, Logan, and his lover Jean Grey are.
Okay, continue.
Oh no, it's just the lover thing is just
Okay.
like cringy.
I love this panel here. This thing.
Nope, let me go back to the
we
right
we are
camera.
in Dan Green Town, and I am loving it. Look at these like the rough edges.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I've heard people say that Dan Green is kind of more of a painter than an inker, and I kind of see that because he's not quite as rough as Klaus Janson, but he's definitely not as clean and sharp as like I don't know, Scott Williams, but he's just in that zone where it's clear, it's got some texture and some bite to it, and it just has that energy.
Look
that
at
a
the
lot of
movement
inkers-
on that page.
I know.
Look at the
these hands
movement
going
on that
all over
page.
the place.
Woo!
Yeah, that's what I was saying, and I even love this kind of static texture
Yeah.
in the background. There's so much going on. This is such a visual, insane book, and you got a fleet of sentinels that's like helping the humans.
This is pretty wild. This is
Isn't
good
this
stuff,
insane?
man.
Larry Hama knew the story to tell and what he could get his artists to deliver on
Does-
that. That's just
Yeah,
Does Larry Hama get the credit he deserves?
not at all.
No.
not
he's,
at all.
He's brilliant.
Yes,
he
And I
created
think-
G.I. Joe. Come on.
And I
Yeah.
think he's I mean, I don't think anybody's going to say any bad words about him. And I think that people would give him his praise. But man, Larry Hama
the
is
studio assistant to Wally Wood.
was he the last one?
I don't know if he's the last one. But he's one of them.
He's-
He's the one who put together the 20 panels that always work.
He was disgusting. Or not was. He is disgustingly good.
He's a great artist too.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. He's a great storyteller, great world creator.
Just
And he
like-
also knows how art works, so he's probably somebody that's going to give you a lot of good layouts and things like that, and creative suggestions to how to formulate your page.
I think this page perfectly encapsulates why it was so tough to do an X-Men movie. Because like once you've seen this and you're a fan of this,
Yeah.
how do you, with a low budget, how do you
Yeah.
compare?
Well, and I think that's what made comics when we were kids. That's what made comics
Yep.
so visually unique. Is that like video games couldn't do this, movies,
Look at
movies,
okay, we got
TV
to stay
definitely
on this
couldn't.
thing.
movies couldn't do this.
Look at this thing.
Animation could sometimes.
No,
The Sentinel.
Sometimes.
This Sentinel is
But
stuck
yeah, no,
in the
that's-
side of Big Ben here in England.
but it really is. It's like you've got a $500 million budget.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just
And another thing that they did with the Weapon X character, because they could kind of reboot him, because one of the tropes in X-Men comics is, okay, you've got your new villain, and they're going to show up and beat up Wolverine to show that they're
Yep.
tough.
yeah.
And they rebooted it. So and I love this scene here. This is Magma who shows up as an agent of Apocalypse to like kill the humans. And
Yeah,
Weapon X just shows up and takes care of it.
Yep.
Like she's not a threat at all. Like she broke in, but he just took care of it. She's gone in a page.
Dude,
They just
Yep. Wolverine is the
This is-
Lieutenant Worf.
this really is.
like with his arm resting on her shoulder there, just like
I was very sad I didn't get to read any of these for the
like
the recap.
all of these are they just take off like a rocket ship. I must have read all of these in less than 2 hours
Yeah.
when I opened them up. Okay, I don't know how much more of we just went through this. I don't know if do they go through each issue issue by issue.
Yeah, so it'll be the next. That are all the number ones.
He knows
Yeah.
how trade paperbacks work, right?
Amazing X-Men. Well, it's all split up. though.
Yeah, okay.
Mickey Mouse in here next? I like Mickey Mouse.
But can I just stay on this for a second?
Do we have a choice?
Okay, I'm gonna jump back to the. So
10
thi-
minutes left of the podcast, but
So,
we've
like,
got through two comics.
I think we just let Aaron go.
Well, so when you're talking about Weapon X comics, this is one of these set pieces that has stuck with me for like what is it? How many years now? Is it 30, 20?
25, 27. Martin, I'm just going to turn our mics
27
off.
years. So, Jean runs away and Wolverine's like out there trying to catch her. This Candyman sequel is not too bad. I watched it recently.
Farewell to the Flesh.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Martin loves the page flip.
I hate
I
it.
hate it.
I
Loves
hate
the
it.
page flip.
No, Martin's 100% correct. That should be against the law. I remember that Clarissa ad.
Yeah, and they're fighting.
Did you?
I still have bad skin.
This guy is Box, and this one who was the Weapon X around this time, and Copycat's there too.
Inclusive, is that spelled with an I or an E? It's I.
Yeah, I didn't know which part you were talking about.
Yeah.
Even this panel here is great, with the giant red kill. But this whole thing, and you've got Mariko in here too. But like, they get attacked again. Now they're on these airships, which is another place where the humans are hiding out, and And in order to take out these assassins, Weapon X jumps out of one of these helicarriers, essentially, one of these blimps. And this is like seared into my memory, just him like falling through space as he gets closer to these burning things. And he just catches fire.
Actually, that kind of reminds me, and maybe this is a nod to this, in the Hickman reboot, when Wolverine and Nightcrawler teleport to kill the big
The Master Mold in space.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like jumping into where he's like Wolverine's burning up
Yeah.
as he's destroying this thing and like knowing he's going to die.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's almost like a little reference to that.
It could be. I mean, to me this is a powerful moment. And Donald Pierce is great in this. The Reavers are really
Football
ferocious.
MM says, if only Martin had one set of all-inclusive trade paperbacks to quickly highlight the entire Age of Apocalypse series to keep Aaron on schedule.
Well, this is the only one I want to really get through. But that set piece of him just going from airship to airship, just so crazy. And then Jean says goodbye to him, which is the thing that pulls him out of like the big inferno. And then his hair grows back as we're going through these final pages. And she has to go and warn people that that they're going to be bombed. But anyway.
And then she dies.
Okay, good to know. Anyway, I just love that set piece of, and then there's the whole series is awesome. Like the way they pull in Carol Danvers and like there's these things they call the pits. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
Where
The
like
pits.
you can be
Arm
kind of
pits?
morphed with other things or have your genetics changed. Which
That would be in the Factor X book.
yeah, I think that's an interesting concept, and I'm kind of surprised that a lot of this stuff hasn't made its way over into.
There's a lot about Age of Apocalypse in general that I'm surprised. Like, they've never done this scale of thing again with anything, and it worked so well this time. I think they could have actually done the Avengers version of this instead of Heroes Reborn or something. But, yeah, some of the commentary I was reading is that Marvel marketing only wanted it to be the 4 issues in length because they knew they were coming back to the original series like Uncanny and Wolverine and all that, and they didn't want to lose readers just in case. So if they'd extended to like 6 issues, they think it would have gone on too long. Had they known how much money it was going to make, I think they would have probably lengthened it. But some of the commentary was saying that it would have been nice if some of these ideas were fleshed out a bit more and they weren't just doing this quickly in a 4-month onslaught.
But I think
What book
having
are we in now?
but on the flip side of that,
Which book is this?
this looks like it is Amazing X-Men. Yeah.
Is that the one with awful Storm costume redesign?
Yeah, that's not a very exciting Storm design in
I
the
don't
Storm
hate it.
world.
I don't hate
She
it.
has a mushroom head and a big shapeless top.
Like a toga. All this stuff is very manga influenced too. All,
yeah.
all the
Well, the
design.
Joe Mad is the front runner for. He did I think 80% of the redesign work.
Yeah, just not a terribly exciting.
How old
Storm
would he have been here,
costume.
Evan? If this is 94.
20s something, maybe
94, he's
95.
2021.
Yeah.
Because I think he was
Wild
born
stuff.
in 74.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Wild stuff. On the flip side of like having the 4-issue thing, I think having 4 issues allowed them to go absolutely all out on it too.
Which I think worked for some and others not. It also created a lot of work to be done in X-Men.
What's the
Omega
weird
to tie it
coloring
all
choice
together.
there?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I thought maybe it's just like a monitor or something.
What's the weird
Flip
coloring?
back over.
Yeah.
Why is it all faded?
He must be a hologram.
Is it okay?
'Cause it was very
Oh yeah.
noticeable.
Okay, it's in the other panels too. I just
Okay.
didn't see that in the other
And
panels.
Oh, okay.
I like Steve Epting a lot,
I
but
love-
this stuff isn't really doing it for me. It's all very sound and very well done. I don't know. I love his stuff now because he did all of
He's great.
Velvet.
Yep.
I just don't understand what the I think it's because it's so much in the Image style and he's such a classical artist that it's a totally different flavor. This is like 2000 AD. This isn't like Image.
Was he with Velvet with
Ed Brubaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did a ton of Captain America stuff.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I loved that run of Cap.
Yeah.
That was a really good run.
Yeah, do you agree with what I'm saying there? How his stuff in
Oh,
this
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I couldn't like from a distance. I couldn't even tell it was him.
It's the all of these pages are so busy. And it's not just Epting, but it's
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I should
don't
love
think,
it, but I don't.
I don't think it's bad.
No, not at all.
I
It's
think
extreme.
yeah,
It's a product of its time.
yeah. It's a product of its time. I think that's a very good way of putting it.
I mean, it's very accomplished with the backgrounds and the figures, and it's very very well done. It's just not hitting that.
What was the Terry Dodson thing you were looking at? Do you remember what that was?
Me?
No. There was a Terry Dodson book in here.
So last week I was reading the Legion Quest book, where it was all the stuff leading up to the Legion Quest, and I'm reading one of them, and I'm like, this is just a weird X. I don't understand what this is. So I flipped back, saw the artist was Terry Dodson, and I'm like, I would not have recognized that without knowing it. And then once you know it,
This
you
is
can see it.
This is the build up to this, and this is Terry Dodson who does the first story, and there's elements of Terry Dodson in here, but to me,
Well, with Klaus Janson.
yeah, like
Wow,
but
what
like,
a
I get to like
Interesting.
page 8 or something like that, and I'm like, who's drawing this?
He did the exact same thing with a different book.
I mean,
from that era.
I can see it
You
with
can-
like
Once
the
you,
overall-
if you really know who it is,
Once,
it's easy
yes,
to
yes.
pick it
Once
up,
it's
but-
revealed, you can see it. But I'm like flipping through. I'm like, this is great, but like, who is this?
So I don't know if he needs like a Rachel Dawson wash over it or something.
Well,
or
I mean,
filter.
that's- I guess how long has she been doing that? A
Well-
zillion years.
Well, I mean, all his figure work is there. Like if you just look at the basic shapes,
Yeah.
it's all there.
The eyes and stuff,
especially
yeah.
especially
But Aaron,
Storm.
Aaron, I'd be curious if I didn't tell you that if you'd be able to pick it out, because again, Martin said he had the same experience
With
last
the-
week
yeah.
with another Terry Dodson book, and I
Yeah.
get it. Once you say it, you're like, oh, I see the pieces. I see the
The-
I see the
the-
figures.
But on the flip side, what I was saying in I posted it on Facebook.
With this, I could probably tell you.
is that it's amazing. We grew up with these people's art as their art grew up.
Yes.
So it's kind of amazing to be a part of the like multiple journeys these people have gone through.
I love Klaus on him though. This is
Isn't
great.
it good?
This
It's
is
really
great
good.
stuff.
I love Klaus on anybody. but-
because sometimes his stuff
Even
now
JRJR.
is just a bit too clean. Terry Dodson, it's a bit
which,
too clean.
yeah, Klaus
Which
has
is
that
what-
little chunkier.
Yeah, it adds a more naturalistic type thing to it because I think like Terry and Rachel I think Terry does the inks too. So and Rachel does the colors, I believe, is
that
how
what it is?
how their team is
Who
divided.
knows? They just make pretty pictures, and I
Yeah,
like
they
it.
But
just, yeah, they
but you
just
know,
got a
it's-
super distinct style.
Tasteful cheesecake.
But it's just like if because I draw and ink my own stuff too. Like so all of the problems that I have with my own artwork are exaggerated because I do it wrong twice.
We've,
Yeah.
we've talked about this, how I love when I can draw and give a drawing to you, and because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Aaron's skill set is, it
Like way better.
it's way better. It's way,
Just like far superior.
Far.
so it's nice. It's nice when I can give him a big pile of poo and he turns it into a shinier pile of poo.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like John Byrne. I always
Yes.
hate when he inks himself.
Yeah.
He needs, Terry Austin or somebody like that.
yeah,
Or,
I don't hate that but he
Yeah.
like he the things that he can't, and Byrne can draw almost anything, but
Yeah.
there are certain like we talked about him drawing kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like,
you can't draw.
oh,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
That's
it's so
god
weird.
awful.
So
It's just
funny.
they look like little people, but like
Wyachek. Steve Wyachek
sounds right.
or Bill Wyachek? I can't remember.
Wild Bill Wyachek.
But,
Yes,
but he's kind of like Marvel's pinch hitter. Like
See
when
the guy that does Max?
when
Oh, I wish I had
what's
that.
his name? Scott Williams went with Jim Lee to do Wildcats. They put Wyachek on the inks for a whole bunch of stuff, and he came in and inked Jim Lee and stuff too. Or not Jim Lee.
What was
John
the
Byrne.
what was the Max inspired thing that we were talking
I don't know.
about?
I'm gonna go
that-
back and try to find it.
Sam Keith? But this
There's
is good
such
looking
a Sam
stuff.
Keith pose in one of these.
Oh, they had the Weapon X's on the X-Men team in this. That doesn't make any sense though, because he would have just been Weapon X.
What are they reprinting there? Is this the first book?
Yes.
This is all.
Dawn of Apocalypse.
Yeah, this is all either the X-Men Chronicles and stuff like that came out during Age of Apocalypse, and then it's all the stuff that came out after. Like the X-Man -1 and things like that.
Actually, I almost wonder if that pose is in here. I think maybe it was
It
the
might have been
Terry.
this
It was a
one.
Terry Dodson post.
Well, I guess he would have had to know Cyclops, but I thought all that stuff happened in the pits. But I don't know. I guess I have to read it.
So overall, Age of Apocalypse was well received as.
I'm making
Art?
more weird noises. Here. My seat is making weird noises.
Oh,
My
I thought
stom-
you had just been like
my stomach,
completely.
my stomach's gurgling. Oh yeah.
Very well received by critics at the time. It seems to hold up pretty well, and it was a sales juggernaut. It's probably one of the most successful of all the big X events.
I love that panel. That's great. That's a classic Wolverine panel right there.
And basically, it set the stage for probably the next 5 or so years of X-Men.
Yeah.
before things took a turn.
I'm gonna look real quick at this.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Okay.
Yeah. What were the kind of hits? I mean, I liked Weapon X. I think Generation Next was great.
Yep.
The Pepsi one.
Yes.
Yes. Astonishing X-Men. I remember not hating it, the Joe Mad art, but I wasn't like blown away by it.
The 2 X books, I think, were actually the weak links in the whole thing.
Yes.
Surprisingly.
Because
I don't quite know why. but-
even Externals and Excalibur had like, it's like, oh, what is this? Like, there's some kind of intrigue, there's some kind of angle. Because I don't even remember who they fought really, or like what they did.
they were the ones that went and got the Mcron crystal.
Oh, okay.
So they were fighting like the Shi'ar, Gladiator, and all those guys.
And then they continued to fight the Shi'ar when they went back to the regular.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, was it Scott
give it
Scott Lobdell writing that one? Probably.
No. I wish I had the writers on here. No.
Because he's like, well, we were fighting the Shi'ar in Age of Apocalypse. Let's just keep doing the Shi'ar stuff. And let's make Magneto Joseph. But yeah, yikes.
Yikes.
Yes. So 4 characters survived the destruction of the Age of Apocalypse to make it into the mainstream, and they made some really good choices here. There was Sugar Man,
Yeah.
Terrible.
who ended up in the past in Genisha, and ended up,
Janisha?
yeah,
Genosha?
that's what it is.
Yeah.
You said Janisha earlier
Did I
too,
too?
and
I
I
don't
was
know
I
why.
was like, am I pronouncing it wrong? And I
No,
was like,
not this time. It's
Okay.
my turn. And he ended up starting the mutate process, so retroactively. Extinction
Look at the
Agenda was
pants
him.
on Sugar Man.
Oh.
Look at the pants on Sugar Man.
Yeah, he was doing the high-waisted pants before anybody.
Yeah, he
He's a fashion icon.
he brought sexy back,
And he's got the Venom tongue. He's got all the stuff you want.
Then,
and an axe and a hammer.
then with a quick name change, Nemesis came over as well. Son of Apocalypse. Did they do much with him or no? I don't.
No,
I don't
not
really
much.
recall anything. I think he like battled X-Man or something.
Yeah.
Dark Beast was the other character that popped over.
Hey, I love Beast. Dark Beast doesn't do much for me.
Evil Beast isn't fun.
Yeah,
No.
I like a friendlier Hank McCoy. I want a
Exactly.
witty,
you want
intelligent.
that juxtaposition of
Yeah,
him
yeah.
being
The furball.
And he ended
The
up
bouncing blue beast.
a little bit more in the future than Sugar Man, and he is the guy that started up the Morlocks. It was him. It was him manipulating Sinister into what was that crossover called?
Mutant Massacre?
That's what it was. Blanked on that for a minute. So they tried to retcon these characters into the Marvel universe. It didn't really work well. Then the final character was X-Man, who was Cable, but without the techno-organic virus, without any checks and balances, and without the nurturing raising of Jean Grey and Scott Summers.
Madeline Pryor raised him instead, I believe.
Madeline Pryor, no.
No?
Was it Glenn Pryor?
Forge did. No,
It was Glenn Pryor.
he met a clone of Madeline when he came to the regular Marvel
okay.
universe. Yeah,
A clone of a clone.
I don't remember.
She's a
It was-
copy
it was
of a
really,
copy.
It was really complicated. He lasted for a good, I'd say probably maybe 60 issues before
And it's not a bad run.
before they made him the mutant messiah with that Counter X thing that they
Oh,
tried
I
to
remember
do.
that.
Then he died. No, actually, he passed into the cosmos and became one with everyone or something. It was really,
Oh.
yeah, it was really weird.
Sounds like something Michael.
He's
would
come
do.
back 3 or 4 times. So I think that's it.
Yeah, and now there's a young Cable in the main stuff, right? Or is I guess he's aging slowly, right?
Is that what's going on still in the X
have
books?
no
I'm
idea.
I'm the one furthest out from X books right now.
I'm not reading any X books either, but I'm gonna sign up for Sins of Sinister.
Didn't that come out this week?
It did. Sins of Sinister #1 in stores at the comic shop, 112 East Bridge Street.
The
comic shop.
Ooh, I didn't say comic
Which
shop.
he's making like clones of, I don't know,
Of Moira Taggart.
Moira, and like trying to kill the Quiet Council. And it sounds, well, from what Jake said to me, it sounds kind of fun. So I'm going to get into an X book for the first time in
He
maybe
said it's 11 parts.
11 parts.
Why is it 11? That seems very odd.
I don't know. It's exhausting.
Because it's no longer House of X. Now it's House of X1.
One.
X1.
1-1.
So, Evan, you didn't read any of Age of Apocalypse way back in the day, right?
I didn't read much.
Okay.
I remember getting a few. 'cause
Still doesn't.
I mean, I hardly read anything for this this podcast. It was one of those things, though, that was so visually interesting. And again, you get all your comic book crack from Wizard, and like they're shoving this stuff down your throat. But I was loving it. I thought these character redesigns. So you like that
Oh,
one, don't
yeah.
you, Martin?
Yeah.
These character redesigns were great, and I like the fact too that it was a 4-issue thing. For me as a kid, I felt like I can just get into 4 issues.
As far as
And they did design this one so that you didn't need to have all 57 parts of it,
Which is great, right?
which is so amazing. You have the
Yes.
option to do it.
So I do appreciate this in retrospect how they did this event a little bit more loosey goosey than I thought when it came to the writing,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting. But also, I
And
don't
from
know,
editorial too, because usually Marvel X editors have like iron fists.
this
on
wouldn't
these
happen
things,
under the
but
Jordan D. White the third
no,
reign.
No,
I think he's the third. I don't.
he is now. No fact.
yeah, having a
No
little bit
fair.
of respect for your reader goes a long way.
Yeah, well,
It's like
Those days are long
Yep.
dead.
yeah.
it's like Hasbro and Magic. A lot
On the
of respect.
wall, 75 Batman miniseries for just this week. Go enjoy.
Coming soon, 75 Spider-Man series for this
That's
week.
what it is. Marvel is doing the Batman thing right now with
Are they?
too many Spider-Man. Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Too many
Can
cooks.
you imagine being like a new reader of Spider-Man and being like, okay, what's the next one? And you just look at the wall and you're like, oh.
Well,
This is up to issue 5. Should I start reading it? No, wait a couple months. There'll be a new number 1.
That was I think I told you guys before, and you've given me some Lethal Foes of Spider-Man, but
Mhm.
Deadly Foes of Spider-Man maybe wasn't the first Spider-Man comic that I read, but I picked it up as a 9 or 10-year-old because it had a number 1 on the cover,
Yep.
and I'm like, oh, like here's this. I didn't know what a mini series was or anything like that. I'm just like, here's a starting point. I don't know.
Speaking of number ones, I had Deathlock number 1 back in the day with that chrome cover, and I think I got rid of it like decades ago. Regret it.
I
'Cause
miss special covers.
It had the Dennis
love them.
Cowan. Well, well,
And then Spawn Batman tried to do a glow in the dark cover, and that was a failure.
it didn't work.
It was it was like they did like some background stuff that was glowing, and it's
But did you
Yeah.
rub the blood?
no.
Rub the blood.
Yeah, what was that? Blood Strike?
Blood strike.
Yeah, where the heat from your hand or something like that
Change
changes the color.
change the color of the ink on the paper. Rub the blood.
That was all very trendy in the 90s because there were like mugs and other
Yeah,
toys,
things like that,
action
yeah.
figures that did that too. Yeah,
Shirts.
shirts. Indeed. Yeah, Age of Apocalypse.
Yep.
Alpacalypse.
Did we do it?
I think so. Did we miss anything?
I don't know. I just almost blew my nose on the microphone.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, it's your mic. You can do what you want with it.
I do. You guys don't see what. No, never mind.
Yeah, look at all these Weapon X's. This is also kind of a teaser. If I ever get to the next Wesley issue, it will be Wesley X.
Ayo.
Followed soon by Wesley XXX. A book
Uh,
by his wife. Actually, she's
yeah, she would do that, wouldn't she?
she's gonna dip her toe in the Wesley verse.
With a crayon and a heart of gold.
All right. Aaron, take us home.
You've been listening to The Comic Shop Does a Podcast with me, the Nemesis.
Oh, hi. Or goodbye. I'm Evan Coy, Dark Beast, and we're here today with our very special guest.
Martin Kinney, Sugarman, who had a nice apple fritter and is all sugared up now.
Good night and good luck.
Godspeed.
Or whoever.